Star Wars, oh, Star Wars. Hey guys, how are you doing today? This is David Lucas back here again. Welcome back to my channel. Now, as you can tell by that opening, that yes, we're finally here at the Mandalorian Season 2 season finale. And oh boy, that was amazing. Now, Season 1 of The Mandalorian came out last year, and that kind of broke the internet, broke everything basically. It was an amazing first season. I thought it was a good, step in the right direction, a good step forward for Lucasfilm and for Disney and for Star Wars as a whole. And then at the ending with Season 1 with that Darksaber over there, when Moff Gideon comes out and brings the Darksaber, that was one of the coolest cliffhangers ever, and could not wait for Season 2, and it finally came. And yeah, let's talk about some. I already did put out my individual reviews for a couple of the episodes. I didn't do all the episodes. I just want to put my individual reviews of some episodes that really stood out to me. And now I kind of just want to go down and kind of say my whole entire thoughts of the whole entire season. First off, what I gotta say is, wow, this second season, let me tell you, is a lot better than the first season. And I love the first season. As you can tell what I just said, I love the first season. But this second season just basically beat all the checkpoints of the first season and more. This second season gave me so much more than what I was expecting. It really just blew my mind with the stuff that they did in this season. Season expands the lore and story of Mandalorians, and even like what's going on in the galaxy right now. From what we know, it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and now we're seeing more of the Imperial outposts out there. We're seeing more of the Imperial remnants that are out there. We're even seeing more now of like the New Republic and kind of how the New Republic is operating. Like there's this one episode, they're in a scene where Mando gets basically pulled over, by New Republic pilots, and they basically are like police officers. That's kind of like what they're doing. They're running his plates, checking to see if he has any warrants out and all of that. And then they kind of save his life at the end of there, and they kind of say, it's like, yeah, we're saving your life because you helped us last season. The last season, you guys remember, he saved that Republican officer, so they remembered that, and they're like, yeah, we'll help you out here because he needed help during one of the episodes of the season with the spiders. And they basically say that, yeah, these are trying times, and we need allies out there. We need some people out there that we can count on, because some stuff is going on out there, and we can tell that the New Republic is starting to know the stuff are going out there. And one of them even tells Cara Dune that the people at the core, which is kind of like the main planets, the main capital planets of the New Republic, they don't believe that anything's going on there. But there are some individual soldiers that know that people like Moff Gideon and other Imperial warlords are still out there, and other remnants of the empires are still out there. And then there's just something going on. They know that there's something stirring up, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it. And I really like that we're seeing a kind of side of the New Republic. We're seeing, okay, what is the order that's in place now? We've seen the Empire back in the original trilogy. We've seen the Rebellion. Now, what did a Rebellion turn into? What did a galaxy looks like now after the Empire? And we're seeing some of that, and I really like that a lot. We also get some scenes, too, with the Imperial officers kind of like saying how, basically saying that they're starting to they want to cause chaos. They want to cause chaos and all that, just so the public ends up accepting them again. We start seeing how, and we even have one of them go saying the line of "Long live the Empire," and then killing himself and then killing his officers, just so the Mandalorians wouldn't get what they wanted from them. They are going to extremist lengths now. We see the Empire is, and the Empire itself is starting to evolve, and it's starting to change too. And I think that is laying the seeds for how the Empire kind of turns into and evolves into the First Order. And because Jon Favreau did say back in Season 1 in an interview that in this show we will see the origins of the First Order, and we will see how that seed grows. So, and I think this is the start of it. I think this is the start of it starting to transform and morph into what we see in the First Order in the sequel trilogy. Something too that I noticed with this season is that everybody in the cast just acted their asses off. Like, they did an amazing job acting in here, and I really enjoyed it. Like, even especially with Bill Burr, especially the two who I noticed that acted fantastic in here was Bill Burr and Pedro Pascal. And yeah, we get to see a little bit of Pedro without his helmet on this season, which I really like. That's something I'm going to talk about a little bit later in this review. But with Bill Burr, that's something, there was this one episode, I think it was called The Believer. And in that episode, Bill Burr's back, and then him and Mando are basically sitting getting a drink. They're undercover, and they're getting a drink with one of Bill Burr's, Mayfield's his name, Mayfield's ex, I think, superior officers in the Imperial thing, because he used to be an Imperial. They said that in the first season. And then we see this interaction between him and this officer who he hates. He just hates. And we can tell by Bill Burr's performance, because this officer is sitting here explaining, again, another thing of the Empire explaining, kind of like, he's saying how they're trying to cause chaos, and then they talk about Project Cinder, which Project Cinder was basically the Emperor's contingency plan, where he ordered officers and generals and admirals to basically fire on all the Empire's basically prized possessions, just so nobody could have it. And in doing this, they killed a lot of their own people. And Bill Burr mentions that, and he says a lot of people who he known died. A lot of families who, the planet that he was on, died for no reason. They did nothing wrong, and they just died. And all the Imperial says is, that's just a little sacrifice for the Empire. And you can tell Bill Burr, he just starts to lose because they're undercover. He can't blow their cover. They're under an Imperial camp. And you can tell in his eyes, he wants to just cry or rage out, or just any one of those. He's just shaking. He's looking back at Mando. He's gripping his hands and everything. You can tell Bill Burr is just totally nailing this performance. And I had no idea Bill Burr, I knew he was a comedian, but I had no idea he could act this damn good. And then he finally shoots the officer and everything. It was such a great scene, and that's just one example of just the amazing acting chops that everyone gave in this whole season. One thing I really liked about this season is that it kind of started teasing from the very get-go, was that Mando is gonna start questioning his ways. And that starts when he meets Bo-Katan, and Bo-Katan basically tells him that he was brought up in a cult, that his order, the Watch, the Mandalorian Seed Follower, are just a splinter sector cult that no one really pays attention to, and the whole helmet thing is stupid. No one does that. And right when that happened, I had a feel they are gonna probably take off his helmet. And starting off little by little throughout the season, they planted little seeds, a little bit. That one shot, there was one little shot in one episode where he's eating with Grogu, and he ends up lifting up his helmet just a slight bit. You see his up face, and then he takes a sip of the soup or whatever, and that's the only time they ever got. And right there, I'm oh, they're planting some seeds. And then we get another episode, the same episode with Bill Burr, and Bill Burr's explaining and talking to him. He's what is, because Mando's taking off a different helmet, and he's wearing a different helmet to be under disguise for an Imperials, and Bill Burr tells him, aren't you bending your rules right here? Aren't you already doing it? And eventually, in that episode, Mando does take off his helmet because he has to get his ID checked, and in an Imperial camp, they have to have a facial recognition. And he takes off his helmet in front of people inside an Imperial camp and gets that facial recognition. And his mask is off for a good, couple minutes. And Bill Burr sees him. And they have that meeting at the table, which I was just talking about. Such a great scene. And with that, it leads to the very ending of the show, of this season, I should say, when he takes his mask off for Grogu. And Grogu sees his face for the first time, and then Pedro's performance right there, with the way the emotion he was getting off, and in his eyes, and it's just the face, it was so perfect. And he was acting with a puppet. He's acting with a puppet, and he's able to deliver this beautiful, heart-wrenching emotion. I started crying, and I seen a whole bunch of people too, and I talked to my friends and seen people online. that got everybody. That got everybody when you start seeing him cry, because it was a strong performance by him. I see Pedro having a very, very good career going forward. I see him being in a lot of big movies, working with a lot of big directors going forward. Because he proven in this season, he's a good actor. Carl Esposito's Moff Gideon in this season was great. Like, damn, that dude plays a fantastic bad guy that you just hate, and he plays him perfectly. And Moff Gideon is that perfect Imperial. Like, he is that true Imperial. He's like the Imperial that you would see from, like, Krennic and from Tarkin. He is that kind of Imperial, and he is so perfect at that. Giancarlo Esposito is an amazing actor. And what the stuff that he does, and when he's interacting with Grogu, and when he's talking with Din about the lightsaber, and about what he wants with Grogu, and about the blood, which I have a speculation that blood is what leads to creating Palpatine, or creating that clone that Palpatine ends up going into, or Snoke. One of the two. That's kind of what I think is going on. That's a little side thing. I know I'm getting off track a little. But it's just so good. His performance is so good in it, and especially near the ending when he's kind of mocking Bo-Katan and then Din and all that. Like, he does such a great job. Something I love that this show does is that it delivers fan service, but it delivers fan service right. It does it the right way. It's earned. That is the best way to describe it, is that this fan service is earned. And when stuff happens, when it's called fan service, you can feel that is earned. You feel the excitement. You feel it's waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it, because they set these things up and then they actually go through with the stuff that they set up. And you can feel it coming, and once certain things come, like near the ending of the season, which everyone knows, the big scene with Luke, that is earned. And this is not just the only fan service. They have so much other fan service and little Easter eggs throughout this whole season that is just so good, and it makes you feel happy to be a Star Wars fan. Pretty far in this review, I'm not even done talking about the all amazing things that they have in this season. That just shows how freaking amazing this season was. Now, one of the best things of this whole season, which I am pretty sure has been talked to death over, but I have to say it, is Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. Like, whoa! That is a dream come true that I never thought in my entire life I'd ever see coming. Way back in the day, I always said Rosario Dawson would look perfect as Ahsoka. I always loved Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. I always wanted to see her in live action. I always thought it was kind of a bummer that she wasn't part of the prequels. It would have been cool to see her part of the prequels. I always thought that was a bummer. But I know she wasn't created then yet at the time, but still, it would have been cool. But now, in The Mandalorian, we finally get to see her in live action for the first time. And holy crap, it was worth it. And wow, Rosario Dawson just nailed this performance. By the facial expressions, by her movements, by just the way how she talks, the way how she kind of is a playful. Like that one scene when Bando's like kind of practicing with Grogu, and he calls him kid. He's still calling him kid, and she walks up to him and goes, Grogu. And then walks away and kind of like smiles and walks away. And then kind of like the smile that she gives after Din leaves and she walks, like, all of that is literal Ahsoka. And it's like, oh my gosh, she just did it perfectly. Like, this is Ahsoka. You just take it, grab her from the animated series, put her into live action. That's it. That's her. And yeah, I can't wait to see her show coming out. She has a show coming out. I can't wait to see with Grand Admiral Thrawn's possibly going to be the main villain of that show, which I can't wait. I am so excited for that. They made Boba a badass in this season. Like, honestly, before, Boba Fett was nothing. He was just, like, I always thought he was the most overrated character, because he literally does nothing in the original series, except for he's the only one that is able to capture Han Solo. After that, he does nothing and dies easily. Well, he doesn't really die, and they bring him back in the most badass way, with playing by Tamora Morrison, and whew, I'm a Boba Fett fan now. I'm a Boba Fett fan now, and I am all for this TV show that's coming out, The Book of Boba Fett. Can't wait for that. Now, the biggest thing of this whole season, which I definitely, don't worry, I'm not forgetting about it. I had to save the best for last. That's what you gotta do, save the best for last. Luke Skywalker. Yes, we finally get the Luke Skywalker that everyone's been waiting for. And yes, I still love the Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi. By the way, I have a Last Jedi video coming out pretty soon with the guest on it, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, this was beautiful. Right when the X-Wing comes, and then you see the X-Wing, you're going, wait. That can't be Luke. No, it can't be Luke. They're not bringing Luke in here. And then you see the Jedi walking, and I'm like, nope, it can't be Luke. It's Ahsoka. It's Ahsoka. It's not Luke. It's Ahsoka. And then you see the green lightsaber and the gloved arm. And then I just lost shit. I just lost my shit. I screamed. I clapped. I was cheering. It was so beautiful. It was. Just everything about it. It reminded me of the Rogue One scene with Darth Vader. It was a father-like-son type of scene. Like my father before me. It was so great. And it was that is the perfect way to do fan service. Because it's something that we've all been waiting for. Something we've all been anticipating. And ever since Grogu reached out and made contact with the Jedi, everyone's like, okay, there's 3 Jedi out right now. We know Ezra's out of commission at the moment. Because he's going to probably be in the Ahsoka series. And then we had a Cal from the video game series that is a possibility, but wouldn't necessarily connect as much with the story overall. The only other person that would connect as much is the Grand Master of the Jedi Order, Luke Skywalker. And of course, he comes up and then he takes Grogu. We have that amazing, beautiful scene with Din and Grogu looking at each other and standing at each other with his helmet off, and everyone seeing him with his helmet off that I already said about. Great scene. And then Luke takes Grogu to begin this training, and then it just ends right there at a big cliffhanger right there with Din Djarin holding the Darksaber. Din Djarin is now the owner of the Darksaber, which Bo-Katan wanted, and they were allies. So what does this mean going on? I mean, I'm really interested in where this is going to lead to in the finale with all of this. With the, not finale, with Season 3, with everything that happened. Overall thoughts of Season 2 of The Mandalorian is, yeah, this season as a whole is probably one of the best things to ever come out of Star Wars, period. Like, it just was fantastic. It did everything so great. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and all the other directors involved, Peyton Reed, who directed the finale, everyone did a fantastic, beautiful job. You can tell this show is being made by true, die-hard Star Wars fans first, and then filmmakers, and you can just... It really warms my heart to see how great this episode is, and to see the reception that all the fans are doing. It's finally Star Wars fans now are celebrating together with something, and aren't arguing, aren't bickering, aren't going crazy and starting hate speeches. We're all the community now. We seem to all be one cohesive Star Wars fan now, it seems. Well, for the most part, I hope. And I hope it continues further with the shows that are coming out and the new content that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are putting out. I can't wait to see more of this. I can't wait to see where Season 3 goes now that Din Djarin is Mandalore. He is Mandalore by right now. And I can't wait to see how that carries on to Season 3. I can't wait to see it, because we do have that little foreshadowing of him telling Grogu, we will see each other again, I promise. And you know that's foreshadowing that they will see each other again in this series. So Grogu's not done with this series. He's not done. The story will evolve and go on to something else, yes, but Grogu probably will still be a very big part of this series going forward. And I can't wait to see what they do. I have full trust now with Season 1 and Season 2 in the books. All of my trust is in Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy, everyone up at Lucasfilm that are doing this. Give them all props for this. I can't wait to see where the future is for Star Wars. We have all these shows coming out now. We have all this connected stuff to Ahsoka and Boba Fett and Rangers of the New Republic. That's all going to connect in the story of Mandalore. I can't wait to see where this goes. As a Star Wars fan, I am happy. I am giddy. I am wearing my Star Wars shirts with pride again. I am so happy. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Now, what did you guys think of this season of Mandalorian? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comment section below and let me know. And guys, remember, if you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It really helps me a lot, and I really appreciate it. And if you want to go take the extra step, make sure you subscribe to my channel and they'll support me that way too. I really appreciate it. I always like growing my channel. I always like discussing movies with you guys and talking movies with you guys. It's something I really love doing, and it makes me happy. Star Wars makes me happy. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later, and may the Force be with you.